Natalie Brooks stared at her phone screen, reading the message for the third time. Her younger sister Jessica was getting married. Not just married, but marrying Tyler Crawford, whose family owned half the commercial real estate in the city. The wedding would be at the Grandview Estate, the kind of place Natalie had only seen in magazines. Her father's follow-up text made her stomach turn. Please dress appropriately and bring someone respectable. Let us not have another embarrassing family gathering. Natalie set her phone down on the kitchen table with more force than necessary. Monica, her best friend and roommate, looked up from her laptop where she was editing photos. Bad news? Monica asked, already reading the tension in Natalie's expression. My sister is marrying into money, and my father just reminded me that I am the family disappointment. Natalie got up and walked to the window of their small apartment. He wants me to bring someone respectable to the wedding. Monica closed her laptop. So bring someone. You have options. Do I? Natalie turned around. My last 3 dates were disasters. One guy talked about his ex the entire time. Another spent 2 hours explaining cryptocurrency. The third one brought his mother. That last one was particularly special, Monica agreed, trying not to smile. But you have 3 weeks. That is plenty of time to find someone decent. Natalie shook her head. I do not want to date right now. I just want someone to stand next to me so my family stops treating me like I am incomplete without a partner. Then hire someone, Monica suggested casually. Hire someone? A fake date? People do it all the time. There are websites for this sort of thing. Monica pulled out her phone and started searching. Look, here is one. Professional companions for events. Elegant, sophisticated, perfect for family gatherings. Natalie leaned over to look at the screen. Her eyes widened. $200 per hour. Monica, I can barely afford groceries this week. My last freelance project fell through, and rent is due in 5 days. How much do you have? Natalie opened her wallet and counted the contents dramatically. $2.37, plus some expired coupons for pizza. Monica burst out laughing. You cannot even buy a decent coffee with that. Thank you for that observation, Natalie said dryly. This is hopeless. I will just go alone and endure my father's comments about my single status and lack of career progress. The coffee shop. Encounter. The next morning, Natalie met Monica at their favorite coffee shop, The Daily Grind. It was a cozy place with mismatched furniture and local art on the walls. Natalie loved it because it felt real, unlike the polished perfection her sister seemed to prefer. I have been thinking about your situation, Monica said, stirring her cappuccino. What if we find someone who would do it for free? Like someone who needs practice for acting or something. Practice? Natalie raised an eyebrow. My family wedding is not a rehearsal space. I am just trying to help. You need a date. You have no money. There must be a creative solution. The only solution involves time travel so I can go back and choose a more lucrative career path, Natalie muttered. She pulled out her wallet again, staring at the 2 crumpled dollar bills. $2. This is what my dignity is worth right now. I would take that deal, a voice said from beside them. Both women turned simultaneously. A tall man in a crisp navy suit stood there, holding a coffee cup. He had dark hair, striking blue eyes, and the kind of smile that suggested he found life genuinely amusing. Excuse me? Natalie asked, confused. I overheard your conversation. Not intentionally, he added quickly. But you mentioned needing a date for a wedding and only having $2. I will take that offer. Monica's eyes went wide. Who are you? Are you some kind of con artist? A serial wedding crasher? A very well-dressed stalker? The man laughed. None of those things. My name is Ryan Mitchell. I happened to overhear, and it sounded interesting. So I am offering my services for $2? Natalie studied him carefully. He was too handsome, too well-dressed, and too confident to be offering himself for pocket change. Something felt off. Why would you do that? She asked suspiciously. Ryan shrugged. Call it boredom. Call it curiosity. I have been to 100 fancy events, and they are all the same. A wedding where I am a $2 rental sounds more entertaining than anything on my calendar. This is insane, Natalie said. I do not even know you. You could be anyone. That is true. But you are desperate, I am available, and $2 is $2. He extended his hand. What do you say? Natalie looked at Monica, who was making exaggerated facial expressions that seemed to say both, "This is crazy," and "Why not?" at the same time. I cannot believe I am considering this, Natalie said slowly. She looked back at Ryan. If I agree, you have to understand some things. This is my sister's wedding. My family is judgmental and exhausting. My father will probably interrogate you. It will not be fun. I can handle difficult families, Ryan said confidently. And you really want just $2? The coffee here is excellent but overpriced. $2 would cover my next cup. Against every reasonable instinct, Natalie pulled out the 2 bills and handed them to him. Fine. Saturday 3 weeks from now. The Grandview Estate. Cocktail attire required. Do not make me regret this. Ryan took the money with a slight bow. You will not regret it, I promise. Give me your number, and I will send you my information so you know I am not a criminal. As they exchanged numbers, Monica leaned close to Natalie and whispered, This is either the best decision or the worst decision you have ever made. I am aware, Natalie whispered back. After Ryan left, Monica grabbed Natalie's arm. Did that really just happen? Did you just hire a mysterious, handsome stranger for $2 to be your fake boyfriend? Apparently I did. Natalie watched through the window as Ryan walked down the street. What have I gotten myself into? The preparation. 3 weeks passed faster than Natalie expected. She exchanged occasional texts with Ryan, mostly logistics about timing and location. He sent her his driver's license information and a brief background check document, which somehow made the arrangement feel more legitimate and more absurd at the same time. The night before the wedding, Natalie stood in front of her closet in despair. Monica sat on the bed, offering commentary. The blue dress makes you look sophisticated, Monica said. The blue dress has a coffee stain I cannot get out. The black one? Too funeral. The green one? Too Christmas party. Finally, Monica pulled out a burgundy dress that Natalie had forgotten. She owned. This one. It is elegant. It fits you perfectly, and it does not remind anyone of holidays or deaths. Natalie held it up. You are right. When did I buy this? 2 years ago, for that gallery opening you were nervous about. The one where I spilled wine on the gallery owner. We do not need to relive that memory, Monica said quickly. Focus on tomorrow. You have a dress. You have a date. You have this handled. Natalie wished she felt as confident as Monica sounded. The wedding day. Arrival Saturday arrived with perfect weather, which somehow made Natalie more nervous. She spent an hour on her hair and makeup, trying to achieve the balance between effort and effortlessness that rich people seem to manage naturally. When Ryan arrived to pick her up, Natalie almost did not recognize him. He wore a perfectly tailored charcoal suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. His hair was styled just enough to look intentional but not overdone. He looked like he belonged on the cover of a business magazine. Wow, Natalie said, opening the door. You clean up well for a $2 investment? Ryan smiled. You look beautiful. That color suits you. Thank you. Are you ready for this? My family is intense. I am prepared for anything, Ryan assured her. Remember, I am here to make you look good. Just follow my lead if things get uncomfortable. The drive to the Grandview Estate took 30 minutes. The venue was everything Natalie expected. Manicured gardens, a fountain that probably cost more than a car, and valets who looked more elegant than most wedding guests. This is intimidating, Natalie admitted as Ryan opened her car door. It is just a wedding, Ryan said, offering his arm. Expensive decorations do not change the fact that people are still people. They walked through the garden entrance, where guests were gathering for the ceremony. Natalie immediately spotted her sister Jessica, radiant in a designer gown, surrounded by bridesmaids who looked like they had stepped out of a fashion magazine. Jessica's eyes landed on Natalie and widened slightly. She excused herself from her bridesmaids and walked over. "Natalie, you made it," Jessica said, her tone managing to sound both welcoming and surprised. Her gaze shifted to Ryan. "And who is this?" "This is Ryan Mitchell, my boyfriend," Natalie said, the lie feeling strange on her tongue. "Ryan, this is my sister Jessica." Ryan extended his hand with perfect politeness. "Congratulations on your wedding. Natalie has told me so much about you." "Has she?" Jessica's smile tightened. "That is sweet. What do you do, Ryan?" "I work in technology," Ryan said smoothly. "Software development and business consulting." "How interesting," Jessica said in a tone that suggested it was not interesting at all. "Well, enjoy the ceremony. We will catch up at the reception." As Jessica walked away, Natalie let out a breath she did not know she was holding. That went better than expected. "She seems pleasant," Ryan said diplomatically. "She seems like she is already judging us," Natalie corrected. "But thank you for being polite." The ceremony was beautiful in the way expensive things usually are. Natalie sat next to Ryan, very aware of his presence. He smelled good, like cedar and something crisp. When her father walked past their row, he gave Ryan a long, evaluating look that made Natalie want to sink into her chair. During the reception, things became more challenging. Natalie's father, Mr. Brooks, approached them at their table with the expression of someone about to conduct a job interview. "Natalie, you brought someone," he said, as if this were a shocking development. "Introduce us." "Dad, this is Ryan Mitchell." "Ryan, this is my father." Ryan stood and shook Mr. Brooks' hand firmly. "Pleased to meet you, sir. You have a beautiful family." "Mitchell," Mr. Brooks repeated as if testing the name. "What is it you do, young man?" "I work in technology, software and business development." "Technology," Mr. Brooks said with slight disdain. "Everyone works in technology these days. Is it stable?" "Very stable," Ryan replied without missing a beat. "The industry continues to grow, and I have been fortunate in my career." Mr. Brooks looked like he wanted to ask more invasive questions, but Ryan's calm confidence seemed to disarm him slightly. "Well, it is good that Natalie finally brought someone appropriate to a family event." After her father walked away, Natalie turned to Ryan. "I am so sorry. He is always like that." "Do not apologize. I told you I could handle difficult families." Ryan smiled at her, and something in his expression made Natalie's heart skip unexpectedly. The rest of the reception passed in a blur of introductions, small talk, and Ryan navigating every social situation with impressive ease. He charmed her mother, bantered with her cousins, and even made her aunt laugh, which Natalie had never seen happen at a family event. As the evening wore on, Natalie found herself relaxing. Ryan was not just playing a part. He seemed genuinely interested in the conversations, asked thoughtful questions, and made Natalie feel like she was the most important person in the room. During dinner, he leaned close and whispered, "You are doing great. Your family is warming up to you." "They are warming up to you," Natalie corrected. "You are the charming one here. I am just being myself. You should try it more. You are more interesting than you give yourself credit for." Before Natalie could respond, the speeches began. Her father gave a long-winded toast about family and tradition, managing to subtly imply that Natalie had been a disappointment until now. But then Ryan did something unexpected. He stood up, gently taking Natalie's hand, and raised his glass. "I would like to add something, if I may. I have not known this family long, but I have known Natalie long enough to see something special. She is creative, kind, and genuine in a world that often values appearance over substance. Whatever path she has chosen, it is hers, and that takes more courage than following expectations. To Natalie, who deserves more credit than she receives. The room went silent for a moment, then erupted in applause. Natalie felt tears prick her eyes. No one had ever defended her like that, especially not in front of her entire family. As Ryan sat back down, Natalie whispered, "Why did you do that?" "Because it needed to be said," Ryan replied simply. "And because it is true." In that moment, something shifted. This was no longer just a transaction. Something real was happening, and Natalie had no idea how to process it. The reception continued with music, laughter, and the clinking of expensive champagne glasses. Natalie felt herself being swept up in the evening, and much of that had to do with Ryan. He moved through the crowd with an ease that seemed natural, not practiced. When the dancing began, he extended his hand to her. "May I have this dance?" Ryan asked with a slight smile. "I should warn you, I am not very good at this," Natalie admitted, taking his hand anyway. "Good thing I am," Ryan said, leading her to the dance floor. He was right. Ryan guided her effortlessly through the slow song, making her feel graceful even when she stepped on his foot twice. Other couples swirled around them, but Natalie barely noticed. She was too focused on the way Ryan looked at her, like she was someone worth paying attention to. "Thank you for what you said during the toast," Natalie said quietly. "No one has ever stood up for me like that." "Your family does not appreciate you enough," Ryan replied. "They should. You are talented, hardworking, and you have integrity. Those things matter more than whatever traditional success they are measuring you against." "How do you know I am talented?" "You have known me for 3 weeks, and we have only texted about logistics." Ryan's expression shifted slightly, something flickering in his eyes. "I have seen your work." "My work? How?" "Your portfolio is online. I looked you up after we made our arrangement. I wanted to make sure you were a real person and not planning to rob me." He smiled, but there was something more serious underneath. "Your graphic design is exceptional. The branding you did for that local bookstore was creative and thoughtful. You have real skill." Natalie felt warmth spread through her chest. "You actually looked at my portfolio?" "Of course I did. I do not make deals, even $2 ones, without some research." The song ended, but neither of them moved immediately. The moment stretched between them, comfortable and charged at the same time. Then Jessica appeared, interrupting. "Natalie, Mom wants a family photo. Just immediate family." Her gaze flicked to Ryan with a pointed expression. "Your friend can wait here." Ryan released Natalie gently. "Take your time. I will be at the bar." As Natalie followed her sister to the photographer, Jessica leaned close. "He seems very polished. Almost too polished." "Where did you really meet him?" "I told you." "Through mutual friends?" Natalie lied smoothly. "Right, because you suddenly have friends who know men who wear watches that cost more than my car." Natalie glanced at her sister. "What are you talking about?" "That watch Ryan is wearing? That is a limited edition Patek Philippe. I know because Tyler looked at the same model. It costs about $60,000. Jessica's expression was calculating. "So either your boyfriend is much wealthier than he is letting on, or he is wearing a very good fake." Natalie's mind spun. $60,000 for a watch? That could not be right. Ryan was just a guy who worked in technology. He offered his services for $2 at a coffee shop. Wealthy people did not do that. The family photo session felt endless. Natalie smiled mechanically while her mind raced with questions. When it finally ended, she went looking for Ryan and found him at the bar, talking easily with Tyler's father, a prominent real estate developer. "Your young man has quite the business mind," Mr. Crawford said when Natalie approached. "We were discussing commercial property development." He has some innovative ideas about mixed-use spaces. Does he? Natalie said, looking at Ryan with new curiosity. After Mr. Crawford excused himself, Natalie pulled Ryan aside. We need to talk. That sounds ominous, Ryan said lightly, but his expression grew more serious. What is wrong? My sister just informed me that your watch costs $60,000. Care to explain how someone who works in technology can afford that on a normal salary? Ryan looked down at his watch, then back at Natalie. Can we go somewhere more private? They walked out to the garden, away from the reception noise. The evening air was cool and fairy lights twinkled in the trees around them. Under different circumstances, it would have been romantic. I should have been more honest with you from the beginning, Ryan started, but I thought if you knew the whole truth, you would not have accepted my offer. What truth? Natalie's heart was pounding. I do work in technology, but not as an employee. I own the company, Mitchell Technologies. We develop software solutions for businesses. The company went public 3 years ago, and it has been very successful. He paused. I am what most people would call wealthy. Natalie stared at him. Wealthy? How wealthy? Wealthy enough that $2 is not a significant amount of money to me. Wealthy enough that I could have paid you $10,000 for tonight and not noticed it in my bank account. Then why? Natalie's voice rose slightly. Why offer yourself for $2? Why lie to me? I did not lie. I just did not give you the full picture. Ryan ran a hand through his hair, looking genuinely uncomfortable for the first time that evening. Do you know what it is like to never know if people like you for who you are or what you have? Every date I go on, every person I meet, I can see them calculating, wondering what they can get from me, what connections I can provide, what doors I can open. And you thought pretending to be normal was the solution? I thought being hired for $2 by someone who clearly needed help was refreshing. You were not trying to impress me. You were desperate and honest about it. That was more real than any interaction I have had in years. Natalie walked a few steps away, trying to process everything. This whole night has been based on deception. You let me believe you were just some regular guy doing me a favor. I was doing you a favor, Ryan said quietly. The money part does not change that. It changes everything. Natalie turned back to him. I told you about my family, my struggles, my $2 budget. I was vulnerable with you, and you were playing some kind of social experiment. That is not fair. I was not playing anything. Everything I said tonight was genuine. My respect for your work, my defense of you to your father, all of it was real. The shocking recognition. They stood in tense silence for a moment. Then Ryan spoke again, his voice softer. There is something else you should know. Something I probably should have told you at the coffee shop. He took a breath. This is not the first time we have met. Natalie frowned. What are you talking about? Westfield High School, class of 2016. I was 2 years ahead of you, but we had some overlapping activities. Drama club, specifically. Natalie's memory stirred. Westfield High. Drama club. She had only been involved for 1 semester, her sophomore year, before deciding it was not for her. I do not remember you. You would not. I looked very different then. I was shorter, much thinner. I had thick glasses and braces. Everyone called me Ryan, the science guy, because I always carried astronomy books. A vague memory surfaced. A skinny boy with glasses too big for his face, always sitting in the back during drama club meetings. Wait, you were that Ryan? That Ryan, he confirmed. The one you rejected when I asked you to the winter formal. The memory hit Natalie like a physical blow. The winter formal, December 2015. She had been standing with her friends near the lockers when a nervous boy approached. He had stammered through an invitation to the dance. She had been cruel, not intentionally, but in the thoughtless way teenagers often are. Oh, no, Natalie whispered, her hand covering her mouth. I said, you said you would rather go alone than with someone who looked like they were allergic to style, Ryan finished. Your friends laughed. I walked away. It was not my best day. Ryan, I was 16 and stupid and trying to impress people who did not matter. I was awful. You were a teenager. We were all awful in our own ways. He looked at her steadily. I am not telling you this to make you feel guilty. I am telling you because when I saw you at the coffee shop, I recognized you immediately. And when I heard you needed a date to prove something to your judgmental family, I thought maybe I could help. Partly because I remember how much family pressure hurts, and partly because I wanted to see who you had become. Natalie felt tears threatening. You wanted revenge. You wanted to show me what I missed out on. No, Ryan said firmly. Revenge would have been agreeing to be your date, embarrassing you at the wedding, and leaving you to deal with the fallout. I did not do that. I helped you. I defended you. I meant everything I said tonight because you are not the same person you were at 16. You have grown into someone kind and authentic. But you still did not tell me the truth. I know. And I am sorry for that. I should have been honest from the start. He stepped closer. But I am being honest now. Everything I feel tonight is real. The way I look at you, the way I want to keep talking to you, the way I kissed your hand when we danced. That was not pretend. Natalie's emotions were a tangled mess. Guilt over her teenage cruelty, anger at his deception, confusion about her growing feelings, and underneath it all, an undeniable attraction to this man who had somehow become important to her in just a few hours. I need time to think, she finally said. This is too much information all at once. I understand. Ryan reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card. This has my personal number, not my assistant, not my office. Me. If you want to talk, I will answer. If you never want to see me again, I will respect that. Natalie took the card, their fingers brushing briefly. Even in her emotional turmoil, she felt the spark of that contact. I should get back inside, she said. People will notice we are gone. They returned to the reception separately. Natalie went straight to the bathroom, needing a moment to collect herself. She stared at her reflection in the ornate mirror, trying to recognize herself. In one evening, she had gone from feeling like the family failure to being defended publicly, from thinking she had hired a regular guy to discovering he was a millionaire, from believing this was a simple transaction to learning it was connected to her past mistakes. When she returned to the reception, Ryan was talking with her mother. Mrs. Brooks was smiling genuinely, which she rarely did at family events. There you are, dear, her mother said. Ryan was just telling me about his company's literacy program for underprivileged children. It sounds wonderful. It is important work, Ryan said, his eyes meeting Natalie's. Education can change everything. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Natalie went through the motions of socializing, but her mind was elsewhere. She watched Ryan interact with her family, seeing him with new eyes. He was not just playing a part. This was who he actually was. Confident, successful, charitable, and he had chosen to spend his evening helping her for the price of a cheap coffee. The confrontation. As the reception wound down and guests began leaving, Ryan drove Natalie home. The car ride was quiet, the air between them heavy with unspoken words. Thank you for tonight, Natalie finally said as they pulled up to her apartment building. Despite everything, you did what you promised. You made my family see me differently. I did not make them see you differently. I just gave them permission to see what was already there. Ryan turned to look at her. Natalie, I know this is complicated. I know I should have told you everything from the start. But I do not regret tonight. Do you? Natalie thought about the question. Despite the revelations, despite the emotional whiplash, she could not bring herself to regret it. No, I do not regret it. Can I see you again? Not as a transaction, not as a favor, just as two people who might enjoy each other's company. Natalie wanted to say yes. Every part of her wanted to say yes. But the weight of their past, his deception, and the massive gap in their circumstances held her back. "I need time," she repeated, "to process everything, to figure out what I actually feel versus what I think I should feel." Ryan nodded, accepting her answer with grace. "Take all the time you need. I will be here." Natalie got out of the car and walked to her apartment door. Before going inside, she turned back. Ryan was still there, watching to make sure she got in safely. She raised her hand in a small wave. He returned it, then drove away. Inside the apartment, Monica was waiting up, practically vibrating with curiosity. "Tell me everything," Monica demanded. "How did it go? Was your family impressed? Did anyone suspect he was fake?" Natalie collapsed on the couch. "It went perfectly and terribly. He charmed everyone. My father actually seemed to approve. Jessica is suspicious but has no proof, and Ryan turned out to be a millionaire who I rejected in high school and who has apparently been carrying a torch for me ever since." Monica's jaw dropped. "I am sorry, what? Run that by me again." Natalie told her everything. The watch, the company, the high school connection, the cruel rejection. Monica listened with increasingly wide eyes. "This is like a movie," Monica said, when Natalie finished. "A really complicated movie. So what are you going to do?" "I have no idea," Natalie admitted. "Part of me wants to call him right now. Part of me wants to run away and change my identity. Part of me feels guilty about high school, and part of me is angry that he was not honest from the beginning." "Those are all valid feelings," Monica said. "But here is a question. Setting aside everything else, how did you feel when you were with him tonight?" Natalie closed her eyes, remembering. The way Ryan had made her laugh, the way he had defended her, the way his hand had felt on the small of her back during their dance, the way he had looked at her like she was the only person in the room. "I felt seen," Natalie whispered. "Really seen. Not judged, not measured, just seen for who I am." "Then maybe that is your answer." But before Natalie could respond, her phone buzzed. It was a notification from a local news website. The headline made her blood run cold. "Mystery woman spotted with tech mogul Ryan Mitchell at exclusive wedding." Below was a photo from the reception. Natalie and Ryan dancing, looking at each other with obvious chemistry. The article speculated about Ryan's new relationship and wondered who the unidentified woman was. "Oh no," Natalie breathed. Her phone immediately started buzzing with texts. Her sister, her father, former co-workers. Everyone wanted to know if that was really her with Ryan Mitchell, the tech billionaire. Within an hour, her social media was flooded with friend requests and messages. By morning, someone had identified her and posted her name online. Her inbox was full of interview requests from gossip blogs and local news stations. Natalie felt like her private life had been ripped open and exposed to the world. And somewhere in the city, Ryan was probably dealing with the same invasion of privacy. She looked at his business card, still sitting on her coffee table where she had placed it. Part of her wanted to call him to ask how to handle this, but a bigger part of her felt like this was exactly what she should have expected. Dating a billionaire, even for one night, came with consequences she had not been prepared for. Monica put a hand on her shoulder. "What do you need?" "I need this to go away," Natalie said. "I need my life to go back to normal. I need to forget that tonight ever happened." But even as she said the words, Natalie knew they were not true. Tonight had changed something fundamental in her, and there was no going back to the person she had been before Ryan Mitchell walked into her life for the second time. The question was, what would she do now? Monday morning arrived with the subtlety of a freight train. Natalie woke to 17, Missed calls, 43 text messages, and her name trending on local social media. The photo of her dancing with Ryan had been shared thousands of times, with captions ranging from "Local Girl Lands Billionaire" to "Who is Ryan Mitchell's mystery date?" Monica knocked on her bedroom door with coffee and sympathy. "How are you? Holding up?" "I feel like a zoo animal," Natalie groaned, pulling the covers over her head. "People I have not spoken to since middle school are messaging me asking if Ryan is nice. My old boss from the coffee shop wants to know if I can get him investment money. Someone even asked if Ryan has a brother." "The internet is brutal," Monica agreed. "Have you heard from Ryan?" Natalie checked her phone again. Nothing from Ryan directly, but his company had released a statement asking for privacy regarding his personal life. It was professional and gave nothing away. "No, he is probably regretting the whole thing now. His private life is splashed everywhere because of me. Because of a photo someone else took and posted," Monica corrected. "This is not your fault." But Natalie could not shake the feeling that she had brought chaos into Ryan's carefully managed world. Wealthy people had PR teams and handlers precisely to avoid this kind of exposure. She was just a regular person with no idea how to navigate this attention. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered. "Natalie Brooks?" a cheerful female voice asked. "Who is asking?" "This is Jennifer from the Daily Scoop. We would love to interview you about your relationship with Ryan Mitchell. We are offering $5,000 for an exclusive tell-all about how you two met and what he is really like. Are you interested?" Natalie hung up immediately. $5,000 would solve so many of her problems. But selling Ryan's privacy felt wrong, even after everything. Over the next 3 days, the attention intensified. Photographers somehow found her apartment building. A tabloid published an article titled "From Rags to Riches, the Cinderella Story of Natalie Brooks," that detailed her modest background, her struggling freelance career, and speculated wildly about how she had captured one of the city's most eligible bachelors. The worst part was her family's reaction. Her father called with an enthusiasm she had never heard from him before, suddenly interested in every detail of her relationship with Ryan. Jessica sent a text that read, "I guess you showed us all. Well played, sis." The implication was clear. They thought she had schemed her way into Ryan's life for money. On Wednesday evening, Natalie finally broke down. She had not left her apartment in days, had turned down 3 freelance projects because she could not focus, and felt like her entire life had been turned inside out. "I need to end this," she told Monica. "I need to make a statement or give an interview and explain that Ryan and I are not actually together. Then maybe everyone will leave me alone." "Are you sure that is what you want?" Monica asked carefully. "What choice do I have? This attention is not going to stop unless I make it clear there is no story here." Natalie pulled out Ryan's business card, the one she had been avoiding for days. She dialed his personal number with shaking hands. He answered on the second ring. "Natalie," his voice was warm with relief. "I have been hoping you would call. Are you all right?" "I saw some of the articles. I am so sorry this happened. Ryan, we need to talk. Can we meet somewhere private?" "Of course. When and where?" "Tomorrow. The coffee shop where we first met. Early before it gets crowded." There was a pause. "Natalie, if you are about to tell me you never want to see me again, can we at least have that conversation somewhere more comfortable? My office has a private conference room. No photographers, no interruptions." Natalie hesitated. "Going to—" His office felt too formal, too much like entering his world. But he was right that the coffee shop was no longer a safe, neutral space. "Okay, your office, 10 o'clock. I will have security clear you through. Thank you for calling. I have been worried about you." After hanging up, Natalie felt both relieved and terrified. Tomorrow she would end this situation cleanly. She would explain to Ryan that the attention was too much, that their worlds were too different, that it was better for both of them to move on. So why did the thought of never seeing him again make her chest ache? The office meeting Mitchell Technologies occupied the top 5 floors of a gleaming downtown tower. Natalie had looked up the building online and felt intimidated before even arriving. This was Ryan's domain, where he commanded a company worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She was just a freelance designer who still used a laptop from college. Security was expecting her. They provided a visitor badge and escorted her to a private elevator that opened directly into the executive floor. The space was modern and minimalist, all clean lines and floor-to-ceiling windows with a view that made Natalie's stomach drop. Ryan's assistant, a professional woman in her 40s, greeted Natalie warmly. "Mr. Mitchell is finishing a call. He asked me to bring you to his private office. Can I get you coffee or tea?" "Water would be great," Natalie managed. The assistant led her down a quiet hallway to a corner office that was bigger than Natalie's entire apartment. Ryan stood at the window, phone to his ear, wearing a navy suit that probably cost more than she made in 3 months. When he saw her, his face transformed with a genuine smile. He wrapped up his call quickly and crossed the room to her. "Natalie, thank you for coming." Up close, Natalie could see the tension around his eyes. He looked tired, like he had not been sleeping well either. "Thank you for agreeing to meet," she said formally. "I know you are busy. Never too busy for you." He gestured to a seating area with comfortable chairs. "Please sit. How have you been?" "Honestly," Natalie sat, accepting the water his assistant brought. "Honestly? Terrible. I have had photographers outside my apartment, strangers messaging me constantly. People I have not spoken to in years suddenly want to be my friend. My family thinks I am some kind of social climber, and I cannot work because my focus is completely destroyed." Ryan's jaw tightened. "I am so sorry. I should have anticipated this might happen. I should have protected you better." "How could you have protected me? You cannot control what other people photograph or post online." "I could have been more careful. I could have made sure we left separately. I could have positioned us away from anyone with cameras." He leaned forward. "I know how this world works, and I put you in this situation without preparing you for the consequences." "That is actually what I wanted to talk about," Natalie said, her heart pounding. "I think we need to release a statement. Clarify that we are not in a relationship, that the wedding was a one-time thing. Once people know there is no ongoing story, the attention should fade." Ryan was quiet for a long moment. "Is that what you want? To make it clear that nothing is happening between us?" "It is what makes sense. We are not actually together. You hired yourself out for $2 as a favor. The arrangement is over. Why should either of us continue dealing with this media circus for something that is not real?" "And if I wanted it to be real?" Natalie's breath caught. "What?" Ryan stood and walked to the window, hands in his pockets. "I have not stopped thinking about you since the wedding. Not because of the attention or the drama, but because of you. The way you stood up to your sister's judgment, the way you laughed at yourself, the way you made everyone at that reception feel comfortable even though you were the one who was nervous." He turned back to face her. "I like the person you are, Natalie. I like her very much. Ryan, you do not really know me. We spent one evening together, most of which was based on deception and misunderstanding. Then let me get to know you, really know you. No transactions, no pretense, just 2 people spending time together to see if there is something worth exploring." Natalie shook her head, standing. "You are not thinking clearly. Your world and my world are completely different. You have business dinners and charity galas and board meetings. I have instant noodles and overdue bills and apartment problems. We do not fit." "Why not?" "Because I have money and you do not? That is the worst reason to dismiss a potential connection." "It is not just about money," Natalie argued, her voice rising with emotion. It is about everything that comes with your life. The attention, the scrutiny, the constant judgment. I have had a tiny taste of it this week, and it is suffocating. I cannot imagine living like that permanently. The attention will fade, Ryan insisted. Once people realize we are just a regular couple, they will lose interest and move on to the next story. But we are not a regular couple. We are not any kind of couple. Natalie felt tears threatening and fought them back. Ryan, you are kind and generous, and you deserve someone who can handle your lifestyle. Someone sophisticated and confident. Someone like Victoria. I do not want someone like Victoria. I want someone authentic. Someone who challenges me and makes me laugh and sees me as more than my bank account. He stepped closer. I want you, Natalie. If you will give us a chance. Natalie looked up at him. This man who had somehow become so important to her in such a short time. Part of her wanted to say yes, to leap into this impossible situation and see where it led. But fear held her back. I cannot do this, she whispered. I am sorry, but I cannot. The gap between our lives is too big. I would always feel like I am playing a part, pretending to be someone I am not. And you deserve better than that. Ryan's expression crumpled slightly. You are wrong, but I cannot force you to see what I see. He reached into his desk and pulled out an envelope. This is a check. Enough to cover your lost work time and any expenses you incurred because of the media attention. Consider it compensation for the trouble I caused. Natalie looked at the envelope like it was a snake. I do not want your money. It is not charity. It is taking responsibility for my actions. Please take it. No. Natalie backed toward the door. I do not want compensation or guilt money or whatever this is. I just want my normal life back. She turned and walked out before Ryan could respond, before she could see the hurt in his eyes, before she could change her mind. The elevator ride down felt endless. By the time she reached the street, tears were streaming down her face. Monica was waiting when Natalie got home. One look at her face told the whole story. I ended it, Natalie said, collapsing on the couch. I told him we could not work, that our worlds are too different. How did he take it? He said he wanted me anyway, that the differences do not matter. Natalie wiped her eyes. But they do matter, Monica. I saw his office today, his life. That is not my world. I would never fit. Monica sat beside her. Can I say something that might be hard to hear? Go ahead. This day cannot get worse. I think you are scared. Not of the media attention or the money difference. I think you are scared of being happy with someone who sees your worth. You have spent so long believing you are not good enough, especially compared to your sister, that when someone successful chooses you, you assume it must be a mistake. Natalie started to protest, then stopped. Was Monica right? Had she internalized her family's judgment so deeply that she could not accept genuine affection from someone accomplished? Even if that is true, it does not change reality. Ryan and I are from different worlds. Different worlds can overlap, Monica said gently, if both people want them to. The gesture. 3 days passed. The media attention began to fade, as Ryan had predicted. Without any new developments or confirmation of a relationship, gossip sites moved on to fresher stories. Natalie slowly returned to her normal routine, accepting new freelance projects and avoiding social media. But something felt wrong. Her apartment felt emptier. Her work felt less satisfying. She kept thinking about Ryan, about the way he had looked at her, about the genuine hurt in his eyes when she left his office. On Saturday morning, Monica shook her awake. You need to see this. Now. Natalie stumbled to the living room where Monica had her laptop open. On the screen was an article from a major business publication. Ryan Mitchell announces new initiative, the Creative Future Fund. Natalie read with growing disbelief. Ryan had announced a new foundation providing grants and resources to struggling artists, designers, and creative professionals. The article quoted him extensively. Too many talented people give up on their dreams because of financial pressure, Ryan was quoted as saying. This fund will provide not just money, but mentorship, resources, and community support. Creative work has value, even when society does not always recognize it immediately. These artists deserve better than choosing between their passion and paying rent. The article included specifics. The fund would award monthly grants of $5,000 to selected applicants. It would provide free co-working space, software licenses, and connections to potential clients. Most striking, it would be funded entirely by Ryan's personal wealth, not his company. Natalie felt her eyes fill with tears. This was not a grand, romantic gesture aimed at her. This was Ryan taking everything she had said about struggling creatives and turning it into meaningful action. He was using his resources to help people like her, even if she never spoke to him again. He did this because of you, Monica said quietly, because you made him see something he had not noticed before. Or he did it because he is a genuinely good person who wants to make a difference, Natalie countered, but her voice lacked conviction. Her phone buzzed, an email notification. The subject line read, Creative Future Fund, application approved. Confused, Natalie opened it. It was an official email from the newly formed foundation, informing her that her portfolio had been reviewed and she had been selected as one of the first grant recipients. $5,000 would be deposited into her account, along with information about the mentorship program and co-working space access. I did not even apply, Natalie said, stunned. He must have submitted your portfolio himself, Monica said. The one he told you he looked at before the wedding. Natalie stared at the email. Ryan had done this, created an entire foundation, set up grants and programs, and made sure she would benefit from it. Not as a personal gift that she could refuse, but as part of a legitimate program helping dozens of people. It was the most thoughtful, selfless thing anyone had ever done for her. I am an idiot, Natalie whispered. Finally, you see it, Monica said. So what are you going to do about it? Natalie looked at the email again, then at the article about Ryan's initiative. He had listened to her, really listened. And instead of using his wealth to try to solve her problems directly, which she would have rejected, he had created something bigger that would help her and countless others. This was not a man trying to buy affection. This was a man trying to make the world better because someone he cared about had opened his eyes to a problem. I need to see him, Natalie said, standing abruptly. Right now. It is Saturday. He might not be at his office. Natalie grabbed her phone and pulled up Ryan's contact information. She hit call before she could second-guess herself. He answered after 3 rings. Natalie. Just her name, said with such hope that it made her heart clench. I got the email. About the grant. You earned it. Your work is exceptional. Ryan, you created an entire foundation because of things I said. I created it because you were right. There is a gap in support for creative professionals, and I have the resources to help fill it. Your situation made me aware, but this is bigger than just us. Can I see you? Please. I need to talk to you in person. Of course. Where are you? Home. But I can come to you. Stay there. I will come to you. 30 minutes later, there was a knock on her door. Natalie opened it to find Ryan in jeans and a casual sweater, looking more relaxed and nervous than she had ever seen him. Hi, he said simply. Hi. Come in. Ryan stepped into her modest apartment, looking around with genuine interest. This is nice, very you. It is small and the heater barely works, Natalie said. It is warm and personal and real, Ryan countered. He turned to face her. You said you wanted to talk. Natalie took a breath. I was wrong. About us. About thinking we could not work because we come from different places. I was scared, Ryan. Scared that I was not good enough. Scared that you would eventually realize you made a mistake. Scared of all the attention and judgment that comes with your life. And now? Now I realize that being scared is not a good enough reason to walk away from something that could be amazing. She stepped closer to him. You created a foundation to help struggling artists, not to impress me or win me back, but because you genuinely care about making a difference. That tells me more about who you are than any amount of money or success ever could. Ryan's eyes were intense on hers. I do want to win you back, though. I am not going to pretend otherwise. I know. And I want to be won back. Natalie smiled through tears. I want to try this, Ryan. Really try. No more running away because I am scared. No more assuming it cannot work because we are different. I want to see where this goes. Are you sure? Because the media attention might come back. There will be events and obligations. My life is complicated. Life is complicated for everyone. At least we could be complicated together. Ryan closed the distance between them, his hands gently cupping her face. I want that. More than you know. Then kiss me, Natalie whispered, before I get scared again. Ryan smiled and leaned down, his lips meeting hers in a kiss that was gentle and passionate and perfect. Natalie felt herself melting into him, all her doubts and fears evaporating in the warmth of this moment. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless. That was worth the wait, Ryan said softly. Definitely worth it, Natalie agreed. Monica chose that moment to emerge from her bedroom where she had been giving them privacy. Finally! I was beginning to think you two would never figure it out. Ryan laughed, keeping his arm around Natalie. Thank you for being patient with us. Oh, I was not patient. I was frustrated, but I am happy now. Monica grinned. So does this mean we get to keep the rich boyfriend? I am not sure I am comfortable with the term rich boyfriend, Ryan said. Can we just go with boyfriend? Works for me, Natalie said, leaning into him. The new beginning over. The next few weeks, Natalie and Ryan built a relationship based on honesty and real connection. They went on actual dates, coffee shops, art galleries, walks through the park. Ryan insisted on experiencing Natalie's world as much as she experienced his. I want to know what you love, he explained when she questioned why he wanted to visit her favorite cheap pizza place. Not expensive substitutes, the real things. The media attention did return, but it was gentler this time. Photos of them together were captioned with warmth rather than speculation. Ryan's PR team helped Natalie navigate the occasional interview request, and she learned to set boundaries around her privacy. Her family's reaction was mixed. Her father became overly interested in her life, which felt insincere, but her mother called to say she was happy Natalie had found someone who appreciated her. Jessica sent a surprising text. I judged you, and I was wrong. He looks at you like you are his whole world. I hope Tyler looks at me like that someday. The Creative Future Fund launched officially, with Natalie attending the opening ceremony as Ryan's partner, seeing the other grant recipients, all talented. People who had been struggling made her realize the impact of what Ryan had created. This is because of you, Ryan whispered during the ceremony. You made me see what I had been missing. You would have figured it out eventually, Natalie replied. You are that kind of person. Maybe. But you made it happen now, when these people needed it. 3 months into their relationship, Ryan invited Natalie to a formal charity dinner. It was the first major public event they would attend together as an official couple. I will be nervous, Natalie warned. I might say something awkward. I might use the wrong fork. You will be perfect, Ryan assured her. Just be yourself. That is all I ever want from you. The dinner was exactly as intimidating as Natalie feared. Wealthy, donors, business leaders, and society figures filled an elegant ballroom. But with Ryan beside her, introducing her with obvious pride, Natalie found her confidence. When someone asked what she did, she answered honestly, "I am a graphic designer. I work with small businesses and nonprofits on branding and visual identity." "How? Interesting," the woman replied. "Do you have a card? My daughter is starting a company and needs someone creative." By the end of the evening, Natalie had 3 potential new clients and a better understanding of Ryan's world. It was not all shallow and superficial. Many of these people were using their wealth and influence for genuine good. As they danced, Ryan pulled her close. "See? You fit perfectly." "I think I am learning to fit," Natalie corrected. "There is a difference." "Fair enough, but you are doing beautifully." Later that night, back at Ryan's penthouse apartment, they stood on the balcony looking out at the city lights. "Do you ever regret it?" Natalie asked. "Offering yourself for $2 that day. Look at all the complications it brought into your life." Ryan turned her to face him, his expression serious and tender. "Natalie, offering myself for $2 was the best investment I ever made. It brought you into my life. Everything else is just details." "Even the media circus?" "Even that. Because at the end of all of it, I get you. And you are worth any amount of chaos or complication." Natalie felt tears prick her eyes, the happy kind this time. "I love you," she said, the words coming naturally. "I probably should not say it this soon, but I do. I love you." Ryan's smile could have lit the entire city. "I love you too. I think I have loved you since that coffee shop, when you were desperately counting your $2 and looking so determined to solve your own problems." "I am still that person," Natalie warned. "Still independent and stubborn." "Good. I would not want you any other way." They kissed under the stars, 2 people from different worlds who had found their way to each other through honesty, second chances, and a $2 transaction that turned into something priceless. 6 months later, Ryan and Natalie were still together, stronger than ever. The Creative Future Fund had helped over 100 artists and designers launch successful careers. Natalie's own business was thriving, thanks partly to the grant, but mostly to her talent and hard work. And when people asked how they met, Natalie always told the truth. "I rented him for $2 to be my fake boyfriend at my sister's wedding. Best investment I ever made. Because sometimes the most unexpected beginnings lead to the most beautiful endings. And sometimes the person you once rejected is exactly the person you were meant to find again." The end.